Hi, everyone. Welcome to Scala, the community. So, I know that people usually introduce themselves before they start the talk, but I'm going to do something different this time. And I hope that you all have a pen and a paper. Or not, if you could use your phone, as long as you're willing to temporarily give your phone to someone else. So, I want you to write a name down on the paper. Write someone in the Scala or programming community in general that you look up to. And you will have 30 seconds to complete this task. And I'll play you a video. Oh, there's no sound, but that's the fun part. Okay, everyone needs to look up. Time's up. All right, so now I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Yifan. I am not technical. I don't really know what Scala is. I'm not sure why you guys are so obsessed talking about it either. Don't know what FP means. Not sure what OOP stands for. And also, what does pure mean again? So I'm not very good at math. Very not interested in science or technology. You know, I just one day walked down the street and I was offered a job because I'm a woman. Now my question for you is, how long did it take you to figure out that I wasn't serious? I hope it didn't take you too long, but if it did, you need to know this word called implicit bias. So what that is when we're young, we form those mentally based or culturally based mental models. Those are basically shortcuts for us to filter informations. But it's a great way for us to take this huge amount of information every day. But however, those implicit biases would help us to also form misperception, misunderstanding, which would cause micro inequities. They are subtle and cumulative messages that would devalue and discourage performance, especially at work. And when I say messages, they don't have to be vocal. They could be looks, gestures, and tone of voices. They could be really subtle. So now we're going to do another exercise. I want you to exchange the name that you just wrote down with someone sitting close to you. And please look forward once you've done that. Yeah? Everyone, or you could just tell the person next to you what the name that you wrote down. Also a great time to make friends. Yeah? Everyone finished? Yeah? Okay. So I want you to stand up and leave the room if the name is not my name. Okay, just kidding. So raise your hand if the person's name on the paper or that you heard has a pronoun of he. And I encourage you to look around. And okay, put your hands down. Raise your hand if the name that you heard or saw does not have the pronoun of he. No one? Really? Jeez, you guys. Okay. So I guess I don't have to emphasize the ratio here. We have a horrible ratio. And we need to do better about diversity, especially in our Scala community. So you might say okay, I'm a dude. Why should I care, Things didn't happen to me. Well, actually, I found this paper that says white dudes doing diversity work could actually help your career. Let's dig into it. So this study ran for a year. They basically studied 362 executives in the US. Each program was a week long. So they basically rated people's performance before and after the program. And I linked the paper in the slides. You're welcome to get it afterwards. So the research results shown that when minority groups align themselves with other minority groups by doing high diversity valuing behaviors, by hiring or promotions, they're actually punished because their behaviors are viewed as nepotistic and as socially competitive. So basically, as different demographic groups, we have this thoughts of zero-sum competition, which means that we believe when other demographic groups have a higher status in society, then our demographic group will lose status. So, people who align themselves with their own groups are actually punished. But what about the other way? So when people who are not from the underrepresented groups, when they do high diversity valuing works, they're actually rewarded because their behavior are seen as highly interpersonally warm, as that they show a compassion towards groups from other demographics, and therefore they receive a better performance rating at the end. So this is one of the graphs from the paper. As you can see, the solid line is for the male leaders, where when they have more diversity valuing behaviors, they have a higher performance review. So the ratio or the relationship is positive, whereas for the other, is pointing down. So that means when they engage in more diversity valuing behaviors, they're actually punished. So not only engaging in diversity valuing behaviors would help you improve your performance reviews at work when you're not from the underrepresented groups, but also having a diverse team would also help you build better product, as Heather mentioned in her earlier keynote. Having a diverse group could help you to build more divergent ideas to generate, to have more innovations and creativities on the team. So I'll give you an example. In 1920s, when car airbags were first developed, it actually killed more women and children at first. Does anyone know why? Yeah?
There were only male engineers, so they used male test dummies, and they worked great on male bodies. But when you were shorter, then it caused more problems.
Exactly. So basically, just like you said, they only had one demographic group on the team, so they used the standard height and weight for that demographic group. They did not consider other demographic groups. If they had a more diverse team, they would have avoided the tragedy. So now we've learned why we should care. Let's take a look at how we're doing in the current industry. So I looked into this research paper called the Athena Factor, which looked at women in science, technology, and engineering. They spent 2 years with 34 companies across the globe and 28 focus groups. So in 2015, they found that there were 25% of women that had computing occupations in tech. You might say like, well, what about other fields? Maybe everyone's bad, So, or, was computer science always like this? In 1991, we actually did the best. So we had 36% of women in tech, but ever since then, the ratio has been going down. And there are people would say like, well, maybe women just don't like to work. They just leave the industry in general. Probably not a computer science thing. Let's take a look. What about other fields? So as you can see, the biology field, engineering field, mathematics, and physics, ever since after 1970s, they have been slowly improving. But the yellow line, the tech field, has been decreasing. So where did women go in the tech field? Well, according to the study, 51% of them left the tech industry. The 20% of that left the workforce entirely. And the rest, 31%, 24% of them took a non-tech job in a different company, whereas the 7% took a non-tech job at the same company. So now we've learned that we definitely have some work to do. How can you help as individuals? So as participants or as conference attendees, the first thing you need to do is to really follow the code of conduct. It is not just a blob of text that tells you what to do, but rather it's a way to protect yourself and people around you. And when you're interacting with someone from the minority groups, you need to assume technical competency. You need to assume that they are as capable as you are. And also, I want everyone to do their research themselves and to distinguish and recognize behaviors that are harmful for other people or that are inappropriate. It's your responsibility to be aware of your own behavior and understand that the impact is more than intent. And I encourage you to read this blog that I linked on the slides, written by Eugene and I, basically explaining what are the behaviors that are not okay at conferences. So what about conference organizers? Well, first of all, you need to build a strong code of conduct. Not only you need to communicate before the conference, you also need to communicate it before the social hours. That's where most harassment happens, unfortunately. I also encourage every conference organizers to build an actionable code of conduct, which means you need to include a reporting mechanism in your code of conduct. You need to include minorities on your committee. So I want to talk about this thing called tokenism. Tokenism means that you're making a symbolic effort to be inclusive to minorities in tech. And the goal is usually to prevent criticism for your own event. For example, if you're inviting a woman to give a talk just because she's a woman, then that's tokenism. I understand that people want to have a diverse representation of speakers on stage, but we really need to care about how we're doing it. Because to a certain extent, doing it wrong is worse than not doing anything. I don't have the perfect solution for this, but the best I've seen is the organizers put effort into the CFP phase. So you encourage people to apply for CFP, and you mentor people to become first-time speakers. And then you treat all of your call for papers equally. Trust that minorities are just as good as the rest of the folks. And I've seen this really cool event, organized by Brian folks at Philly for Scala. So instead of having the traditional lecture style of I talk, you listen, they had this panel to mentor people to become first-time speakers. So this is just an example to show meetup organizers that you gotta have those events that help people. You don't always have to have a talk. Another really cool event is created by Mozilla. They provided a safe space for men to ask questions. So basically, if you're a man in tech and if you want to help, but if you don't know how, or if you're afraid of asking, like what is inappropriate or versus what's not, this is a safe space for people to become a better ally and to learn about what is not okay and what is okay. So those events are all really helpful. And I want to talk about Scala Bridge. Scala Bridge is a community-based nonprofit organization that helps people from underrepresented minorities to learn Scala for free. We have the format of one-day workshops and also recently developed this 12-week-long program. So there are 3 different ways to contribute. The first way is also the easiest way and the most impactful is to be a mentor at Scala Bridge. If you know Scala, which most of you guys know, and you can just attend Scala Bridge to answer questions and help students to learn Scala. There's another way, which is the most fulfilling way, is to be a Scala Bridge organizer. It's really easy. You just need to find a sponsor that sponsors food and space. You need to find mentors and students to attend, but that's it. And I even wrote this 7 steps of how to organize a Scala Bridge right on the Scala Bridge website. It's only 7 steps. And you're welcome to always email us if you have questions. I will show the email in the later slides. And so another way to contribute is to help us build our new website. We're actually in the process of building a new website right now, and I will show you a demo. So this is website in progress. And we have different sections that people can get resources and learn how to be an organizer, what it's like to be a mentor, and then for students to look at our curriculums online. And we introduce who we are, have workshops. So we really need great front-end developers to help us, as I'm not a very front-end person. So if you want to contribute, you're welcome to help us and shoot me an email to help us build our website. What if you say like, well, I'm still learning Scala, but I also want to participate? That's also great. You could join our Slack channel, which I linked in the slides, to engage in discussions, ask questions online. We have great mentor support. We have other students who are just learning, just like you. Join our community. Also follow us on Twitter at Scala Bridge. We post most updated events information. And also feel free to shoot us an email if you have any questions or concerns at scalabridge@gmail.com. So I'm really proud to say that for the past few years, we had Scala Bridge events in more than 15 cities around the world. I think I don't have to emphasize how impactful Scala Bridge is. We really, as the community has this excellent momentum going, we really need to grow our community more, and we welcome everyone's contribution. So I would like to show you a video of Scala Bridge. Oh. I don't know why the sound is not working. It's only playing from my computer. Can everyone hear it?
So I'm Devin. I'm a junior at NYU.
My name is Steven. I'm a software engineer.
I'm Hannah Quidera. I'm currently a software engineer.
Hi, my name is Alicia McCara. I'm attending Scala Bridge at TAPAD in New York City. I attended Scala Bridge because my company uses Scala. I'm trying to wiggle my way into programming more at my company. Scala is definitely something that I need to learn.
We have a couple of services built in Scala. I'm hoping to learn more about the foundations. Yes, I can look at the source code of our services right now, but it's a little intimidating to just pick it up without knowing the foundations of Scala. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this.
I'm working in Scala this summer at my internship. I couldn't find any experience at school for functional programming. It's only available to graduate students, so this was a great opportunity to meet people, learn, and get prepared for the summer.
I am a Latino. I'm not usually represented in tech. Just wanted to come and support and learn new skills.
This was really valuable for me just because I didn't really know how I was going to learn it. It's a lot better to learn in a setting where someone's kind of giving you some instructions. It's nice to kind of do the practice with other people.
Scala is not as foreign as I thought it was. It definitely has similar parallels to other languages that I coded in, so I'm not as scared to move forward with it.
Today, what I enjoyed most was just being around like-minded individuals who want to improve themselves.
It's really fun to get to meet people that are professional, that are also in the same learning point as me.
Being able to plug away at doing some code by myself because that's how I learn, but also having people around that knew what was going on to help me when something didn't compile or something gave me something unexpected.
Scala Bridge has a huge impact on our community and both the community and individuals. So I really, really encourage people to contribute. Think of it as an open source project, but for mentorship. So this is another success example. One of the students who graduated from our London 12-week program got an internship at Twitter, which was really, really amazing. Think of how much impact and positive impact that you could make on someone by helping them to learn something new. So now we've talked about different ways that you can contribute, as individuals. I would like to take a moment to ask everyone to reflect. And if you could pull up your phone, well, hopefully this would work because the Wi-Fi wasn't great today, but let's try. If you could go to slido.com and then enter this code, SBTB, and look up once you're done. Also let me know if you have any technical difficulties. Not much I can do, but I can hope for you. Yeah, everyone good? Okay, I'm gonna start the poll. Everyone good? Anyone having problems? No? Going once? Twice? Third? Okay. We're going to start. So I'm going to ask you a question, or ask yourself this question. What is one thing that I can do to help build an inclusive tech community? And I'd like everyone's input. You. Be a good mentor to someone else. Yay, that's really important. I had an excellent mentor. Okay, volunteer. Mentoring. Yep. And this is also a great chance for us to learn from each other, because I bet people would bring up really excellent points that I didn't think of. Be active on forums. Yep, like helping other people, answering questions. Follow people in marginalized groups online. Yep. You know, like help them, volunteer, donate. Mentor and create opportunities for minority groups. Yes, definitely. Teach kids. Set up a Scala event. Introduce people to programming. Yes. Be visible. As a technical person who's under-indexed. Oh yeah, this is a really excellent point, be visible. Because I think, you know, we need more people who are from the underrepresented groups to be visible in tech, to be either speakers or to be leaders in tech. Read about issues related to diversity and inclusion and reflect on them. Be aware, that's really important. Host a Scala Bridge. Who said that? I'm going to find you afterwards. Make time for people. Yep. Get visibility to manage. And, you know, like, meaning you could be allies for people from the minorities in your company. That would be really great. Produce and share education materials. Actually, I'm currently organizing a Scala Bridge event, the 12-week-long program in January in South Bay. I'd love a new curriculum. So if anyone has any materials they want to share with me afterwards, I would appreciate that. Yep, help to mentor, pay and promote for diversity and inclusion work, organize events, be less ignorant. Yes, definitely. Some really good self-reflection there. Speaking out. This is really important. Which someone, you know, like just as a minority in tech, I think you've probably have heard a lot of horrifying experience from minorities in tech, and we really need allies, either at conferences or companies, to speak out for them, for ourselves, well, we need to do that for ourselves, but we also need allies to help us. Retweet this talk. I would appreciate that. Cool. So I will share this results online so that you could go through the list and learn from yourself and other people. I think we have a very good results here. Sounds like people learned a lot. All right, let's go to the next slide. Going back. Okay, so when I was preparing this talk, I really struggled. I wasn't sure doing this talk was a good idea or not. Because to quote one of my friends, she said, "You don't want to be a female speaker giving a non-technical talk." So I had this thing called stereotype threat, which means that I was afraid of doing something that conforms the stereotype on my demographic group, which in this case, a woman in tech. But then I talked with another friend, brilliant friend called Caesar. He said, well, you know, it's kind of like documentation. No one likes to do it, but it's really important for people to do it. So I thought, okay, this talk might be the same. I'm very aware that diversity is a very sensitive topic in tech, but because of that, we need to talk more about it. We need to make people be aware of the issues we have, and therefore we learn from it, and then we make improvements. So it is okay if you don't think that I'm technically competent as much as you are. That's fine. But I hope that you got something out of this talk. I hope that you can find your own way to contribute to diversity. And thank you. I'm Yifan. I am a software engineer. I know Scala, use it at work. I'm not great at math, but I am extremely interested in science and technology. I wasn't offered a job just because I walked down the street. I went through this very rigorous interview process. I felt like my brain was damaged at the end. But finally I got the job because I'm a good engineer. I can't do the mic drop because they will fine me, but I can answer questions. anyone has, I know first question is like the most difficult to think of. So I'm just gonna ramble until someone come up with something. Yeah, oh, here we go. Do you want a mic?
I think Scala Ridge is a really cool program. Could you tell me more about how it got started and,
Yeah. So the question for people on the video is, how was Scala Bridge started? Scala Bridge is very cool. Want to know more about Scala Bridge. So Scala Bridge was started in 2016 or something by Kelly Robinson, who is not here, I think. But Kelly and Heather and a few other folks were the first group of people who started Scala Bridge and organizing events at different cities across the world. They developed the curriculum. They built the original website. Scala Bridge is very accessible to people, and thanks to our first group of leaders who made it very friendly. It really is inclusive to everyone. Everyone is welcome to participate and to help us by contributing, either coding or mentoring or organizing. So again, we have those steps of how to become an organizer. You're welcome to always shoot us an email or go read up online. Because right now, Scala Bridge really wants to scale because we have great amount of attendees, but we want more people to be organizing those events because that's how you make a better impact. So if you're interested in organizing or learn about organizing, please do. Please try to organize at Scala Bridge. Any more questions?
So say if you're interested in, someone to Scala Bridge but in a different tech, how would you suggest, approaching it in the beginning, especially in terms of marketing to other underrepresented students, coming from,
Right, so the question is, if you're organizing just like an event for minorities in tech, how do you market those events? And who's the audience, may I ask? Okay, so you want to target, okay. So, so what Scala Bridge currently does is we have this platform on Twitter to advocate for our new events. We also use this tool called Bridge Troll, which would let us publish events, and then whenever a new event publishes, it sends an email to everyone who has ever been on Bridge Troll, and it will help us to get the word spread. But another really good way that I found is to post your event registration link and a short blob of text that introduces the event on different meetups, which when I was organizing the Boston Scala Bridge event, I shared it with so many, just any meetup groups that are either in tech or not. I just posted it on their discussion groups, and that attracted more than 130 people to register. But I also did get blocked by a lot of meetups, which I didn't mind, whatever, But yeah, so don't just focus on Twitter or already tech platforms, because people who are already on there probably already know the languages or tools that you are trying to teach. So I recommend you to step out and go to other groups, promote your class in a hip hop class and be like, hey y'all, I have this class. If you want to learn about programming, you're welcome to come. And yeah, be creative. Yeah, more questions? Or a joke is fine too. Okay. If you have more questions, you're always welcome to find me afterwards. Yeah. Thank you.